Thank you to everyone who has been calling and inquiring about Star Inc. and how we've been doing during the pandemic. I'm happy to report that things are going well under the circumstances. As you may know, early in mid-March, we received the order from the governor to close our day services. That didn't mean we could close our residential programs, and so we quickly geared up to provide as safe an environment as possible for the residents in our 13 group homes and many apartments scattered through town. The first thing we were able to do was to reassign our day staff into the group home so that day programs could continue for those residents. It also allowed us to prevent any layoffs of staff. We redeployed all administrative and non-essential staff to work from home remotely to ensure the safety of our residents. We took a number of measures, including those recommended by the CDC, the Governor's Office, and the Department of Developmental Services. Probably the most challenging for families was the visitors ban, which meant parents could no longer visit face-to-face with their adult children in the group homes. I'm happy to say that by early July, that ban was lifted and families again are able to social distance, wear masks, and by the end of July, were able to take their children home for a weekend visit or an overnight. We started doing bulk grocery shopping. Groceries were delivered here and then redistributed to the homes after they could be sanitized and cleaned. We made sure that all of the group homes were deep cleaned by ServPro and sanitized. We collaborated with the other ARCs around the state to source and secure PPE equipment such as masks, shields, gloves, gowns, and all the equipment that we would need to make sure that we could keep people safe and, God forbid, be able to support people if we had a case of COVID positive. We did have one resident who tested positive. We were able to quarantine her with her roommates. Staff stepped up and just did an incredible job of following all the procedures and supporting these 3 women in their apartment until they passed through the quarantine time. I'm happy to report that they basically were asymptomatic after the positive test and have fully recovered without incident. Our STAR case managers began working at home with the task of making contact at least once a week with every family that we serve. Over 210 individuals received weekly calls so we could check in to see how they were doing and if there was any way that we could support their needs while the day program was closed. Although our day service facilities were closed, our incredible staff quickly revamped and created what we call StarCast, a series of Zoom classes that are offered 4 times a day for individuals who are in our group homes or the adult services for individuals who are living in their family homes. These Zoom classes have become a tremendous success and is something that we will continue post-COVID for sure. We are very grateful to our community partners who prior to COVID offered art classes in their studios, cooking classes in their restaurants, fitness classes in their gyms, theater classes in their theaters. All of our community partners, when called upon, responded positively and started offering classes over Zoom via their living rooms, their basements, their backyards, and their kitchens. We were able to bring these really wonderful community partners into the homes of all of our participants, where we quickly saw families joining in, particularly on the cooking classes. In order to pull that off, we needed to inventory all of our iPads and devices and purchase additional devices so that we could put technology in the hands of all of the adults in our day program who did not have it previously. What's really been amazing to me is that these classes have been part of the learning, but the technology that our participants have been learning has just skyrocketed. From learning to turn on the iPad to now being able to chat on a Zoom class, mute themselves for questions, and share ideas with the camera shining on them has been absolutely amazing. On July 15th, with direction from the state of Connecticut, we were able to begin a soft reopening of our day services. We began with about 30 individuals across our 4 facilities. Again, we relied on ServPro to come in to clean and disinfect all of the areas. We provided PPE to all of the staff and to all of the participants attending. We also provided extensive training for our employees so that we could provide as safe an environment as possible. Our nurse did a number of Zoom classes for our participants on how to properly wear a mask or a shield and the importance of washing their hands and staying socially distant. We didn't know what to expect, but once again, the participants really surprised us with their willingness to do what was necessary to keep everyone safe. And I'm happy to report that as of today, we have had no reports of anybody COVID positive. We know the virus is still with us. We know that the risk is always there. STAR is doing everything to minimize that risk. And we are practicing drills to respond if somebody does test positive. We know it can happen. We want to be prepared and ready and be able to execute all of our emergency procedures when it does. STAR has always been proud of our competitive employment services, and like many people, and I'm sure many of you, companies shut down, and so a number of our individuals were placed off duty, and some unfortunately have lost their jobs as the companies that they worked for went out of business. We did have a handful of participants who worked through the initial quarantine period and the shutdown of the state, and gradually individuals are returning to work. Our job coaches, once teaching people on the job, are now teaching new COVID procedures, wearing the mask, temperature taking, et cetera, so that they can be safe while they perform their competitive jobs. Now that we've begun our reopening, we're working again with our community partners because we didn't want our participants just to come back to STAR facilities. As you know, it's always been our mission that people with developmental disabilities be fully integrated in the community and reap the benefits of all that has to offer. While the offerings are smaller right now, we are working with our artists, our fitness instructors, and our chefs for those companies, restaurants, and programs that are opening. We are reintegrating our individuals back into these programs. Our participants have begun volunteer shopping for the elderly again taking all necessary precautions when doing so. We have art classes that are being taught by professional artists, either in their studios, and on nice days are providing those classes outside in natural settings where individuals are painting the scenery around them and still getting the experience of taking a class, but much like in college, doing it outside. While COVID and the shutdown created a lot of challenges, it also created some opportunities. As you know, we have been in the process of major building renovations. Throughout this time, the renovations have been able to continue without much interruption or disruption to our programs. We will continue to work daily to secure everyone's safety as we move toward a complete reopening of our services. I cannot wait for the day when you can come visit us in person and see all the changes that we're making to improve services. Please stay safe. Thank you for everything you have done and continue to do to support us.